Okay, we have Photoshop's preferences set up. The next thing that I want to do is I want to organize and customize somewhat the actual Photoshop interface. Again, I want to streamline it more for a web design workflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to arrange some of the panels that we see here docked over on the right-hand side of the interface. And we'll do a little bit of customization, as I say here. So if you've never done this before, by the way, it's really, really easy. Let me give you a really quick example. Look for your swatches panel. You should have your swatches panel handy. If you don't see your swatches panel, by the way, just head to your window menu and look for swatches. He should be buried in here somewhere, down towards the bottom. There he is. By the way, I think of the window menu as my laundry list of all of my available panels inside Photoshop. Whether those panels are currently visible on screen or not, they're all available from the window menu. So maybe I wind up closing out of brush presets and I go, oh, I need my brush presets panel. I just head to the window menu and look for brush presets and pull that up on screen, right? It's pretty easy. Anyway, so look for your swatches panel. He should be floating around there somewhere now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the actual text tab, if you will, the swatches tab or panel tab, and click and drag on that guy and literally tear him away, pull him right out into the middle of the screen. And now what I have is this floating panel, and I can move this panel around. I can maybe move him up to the top left if I want, or maybe the bottom left, whatever I want, kind of position him wherever I like on screen. So I have a floating panel now, but all of the panels over on the right-hand side are still docked or locked into the interface. That's kind of how it works, right? But what's cool here is I can start to arrange my panels, and I can start to adjust them and set them up and position them however I want inside this interface. For instance, maybe I decide that I want to take my color panel and I want to dock them, but instead of docking them over on the right-hand side, I'm going to dock them way over on the left-hand side. So to do that, what I would do is I would grab the palette tab where it actually reads color and drag him over to the left-hand side until I see sort of this, see that change in the interface, sort of that light blue vertical line appearing, and there's kind of a shadow sort of thingamajiggy showing up there. When I see that, let go of your mouse, and now I've docked color over onto the left-hand side of the interface, something like this, right? And as a matter of fact, I could throw some other panels in there. Just look for those blue lines, those blue horizontal or vertical lines, something like this. Or what I could even do, if I wanted to, is not only can I dock these guys over onto the left-hand side, but I can also create what's referred to as panel groups. Now, what a panel group is a group of panels, as the name would imply. I just realized how that sounded as I was saying it. So, for example, over on the right-hand side, I have layers, I have channels, and I have paths all grouped together, right? All inside one panel group. So what I could do is I could take styles, for instance, and I could click and drag on his panel tab and drop him into swatches. Now notice that I get this blue, light blue frame all the way around swatches, indicating that if I let go with my mouse, I've now grouped swatches and styles together. That's how that works. So I just created a panel group. So you can mix and match and organize your panels however the heck you want. You could even do something like this. I've got all these panels here on the left-hand side, but they're kind of taking up a lot of room, aren't they? So I could click on this white double-headed arrow here, collapse to icons, and reduce my panels down to a simple column of icons and labels, like this. Color, click on that guy, he flies out, click away, and he'll disappear, or I can click on that double-headed arrow there to collapse him back down, something like that. Same with swatches, same with styles, right? It's pretty cool. Or what I could do is I could collapse these panels all the way down to just icons, so no text labels, by simply bringing my cursor right to the edge of the panels, if it's going to let me do it. There we go. And then I can simply drag to the left and knock these guys all the way down to just icons, something like that. right? So I'm kind of showing you a whole bunch of different things here. You can really mix and match your interface and really set it up however you want, really. It's entirely up to you. I could go all the way back to the full panels there, again, just by clicking on that white double-headed arrow again, pull everything back to life, collapse things down over on the right-hand side if I were so inclined, collapse them all the way down to just icons so I don't see any labels. However you want to work. It's really entirely up to you. That's what's so cool about all this, is Photoshop's going to let you work however you want, which is great. All right. So I hope that makes sense. I'm kind of rambling on here, showing you lots of cool different techniques and tricks here. But there is method to the madness here. I actually do have some panel groups in mind that I want to create, and I do have an interface in mind that I want to create here. So you're welcome to pause up the video here and start experimenting and goofing around with your panels. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and set things up the way I want. So give me a moment here. I'm going to take my swatches panel and I'll tear him away. And I'll tear away styles, and I'll also tear away color, so I don't have anything docked over on the left-hand side anymore. And let's see, I'm going to take swatches, and I'm going to drag and drop him over onto the right-hand side, something like this. So he's sitting all by himself. And I'm going to take the color panel and drag and drop him into the swatches panel to group those two guys together. The way that I like to work, by the way, is I try to group similar panels together. So swatches deals with color, and color, as it so happens, deals with color as well. So I'm going to put those two guys together. I'm going to throw a third panel into this group, my info panel. And he's found right here, as a matter of fact, this guy right here. You might have to head to your window menu, by the way, to go and find this guy. So info, I'm going to tear that guy away, and I'll collapse down my histogram. And I'll drag and drop info into the swatches and color panel group, just like that. There we go. That'll work. What else do we have here? Well, I'm going to take styles, and I'm also going to take history. There's my history panel. I hope you know about your history panel. Very, very useful guy. And I'm going to group these two guys together. Drag and drop those guys together. There we go. Something like that. And what else? Well, I'm going to take my adjustments panel there and my masks panel. I don't think I'm going to use those guys anytime soon. So I'm actually going to close out of these panels just by hitting the X in the top corner. That's how you can close out of a panel, by the way. We can always pull them back to life, again, from the window menu. And I'm going to get rid of channels. I'm going to get rid of paths. I don't need those guys either, so they can go. Let's see. My mini bridge, this guy here, I really don't need him. So what you can actually do is you can click on this icon here, which gives you a little pop-up menu, and I'm going to say close. Get rid of that guy. Same with navigator and histogram. I'm going to click on that same icon, and this time I'm going to choose close tab group, and that'll get rid of everything there. There we go. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Okay, I'm going to take layers. I hope you don't mind me I'm going to keep on ripping along here. I'm going to tear layers away, and then I'm going to take my history and styles panel group, and I'm going to drag them down to the bottom right corner. There we go, to group these guys together. And then what I'll do is I'll collapse these guys down to icons, just like that. And then I'll take layers and drag him over to the right-hand side and dock him in, just like that. So this is how I like to work anyway. I like my layers to be nice and tall because we're going to wind up with a billion layers. But I also like some of my other panels to be at the ready, if you will. So something like that I think is going to work for me anyway. And last but not least, I actually want to pull up two more panels, my character panel and also my paragraph panel. So I'm going to head to my window menu, and then I'm going to look for character. Go ahead and choose character. And character and paragraph are actually already grouped together. So there we go. And what I'm going to do is, well, I'll regroup them together because I went and tore them away there, pulled them away. And I'm going to dock these guys over onto the left-hand side of my layout, something like this. And I'll collapse them all the way down to icons, just like that. So there we go. We have character, we have paragraph, I've got layers nice and tall, and then I've got a handful of other panels at the ready. And I try to work sort of in this minimalist way inside Photoshop. And I know that this exercise is kind of getting a little long, but I wanted to show you all that cool stuff, all the different methods that you can use for customizing Photoshop's interface.